Hey folks, I'm Craig Ripley and welcome to another edition of Living Off the Slab. So if you remember, the last video that I put together was announcing my purchase of my new 2015 Yamaha Super Tenere ES. And that's going to be my new adventure touring bike, so I can get out there and have some new off-road adventures. So as you guys remember, I am a newbie to this adventure touring stuff. Everything I'm doing here I am learning, and so I'm sharing these experiences with you. So as you can imagine, I am pretty excited about all of this. This is going to be new to me. I'm going to have to learn some off-road skills and a completely different way of riding. But I'm really looking forward to that. And I've got all kinds of adventures that I'm already starting to plan. I'm looking at the Transcontinental Trail. I'm looking at the Trans-Labrador Trail, and then also a ride up to Alaska. Myself and a few buddies who are also interested in getting into this kind of riding, we're all thinking about doing those together. So things are really looking exciting for the future, and I'm starting now to outfit the bike for those kinds of tours. Probably the biggest purchase that I'm going to make, other than the bike itself, is going to be a luggage system, something to carry around all of my clothing, my tools, etc., and keep that dry and keep dust from getting into it. So I started looking around and trying to decide what kind of bag that I wanted to add to my bike. Now as you can see, I ended up going with a hard case. But at first I was going back and forth. Do I go with a hard case? Do I go with soft bags? Again, I was kind of conflicted. So before I settled on these hard cases, I was originally thinking about putting some soft luggage on the bike. See, I already have this dry spec bag from Twisted Throttle, right? This is a D38 bag, and it's been really great for me. I love it. 100% waterproof. I don't have to worry about taking a cover on or pulling over alongside of the road. If it starts to rain a little bit, I can just keep right on going. So this has been a great bag for me, and I was thinking about building off of it before I got these hard bags. However, along with going on a tour, I also commute to work, and I've been commuting to work on the Tenere, that is before the winter set in here. And I tried to take the soft luggage with me to see how it would work going back and forth to work. And what ended up happening was I ended up having to put it on in the morning, take it off when I got to work, put it back on if I wanted to go out to lunch and grab something to bring back to the office, and then take it off again when I went back in the building and put it back on again when I left for home. You can see it got to be a little bit of a pain, even though the attachment system for the dry spec bags are pretty good, right? It still was a pain in the butt putting it on and off several times a day. So I figured that, well, it might work for a tour where I don't have to do that all the time, but it wasn't going to work very well for a commuting situation. The second thing I tried was to use a backpack to commute back and forth to work. So I got myself one of these, pretty nice little backpack, and it actually worked pretty well. I could carry my computer back and forth to work if I needed to, and also I could go out and get something to eat at lunch. And I didn't have to take the thing on and off the bike all the time. I just threw it on my back. It was much easier. The problem I ended up ultimately running into with the backpack was I was kind of limited to the kind of lunches that I could pick up, right? A sandwich or a wrap or something like that was pretty good, but if I wanted to get a salad or some Mexican food or Chinese food or whatever, I really couldn't put it in the backpack and bring it back to the office, at least not without spilling it all over the inside of the backpack. So that wasn't going to work too well, and we all have to have our priorities, right? So in the end, after all of that back and forth, I decided that I needed a lockable luggage solution so that, one, I could commute, but also so that I could lock up all of my gear, my electronic gear, that is my cameras and my computers and so forth, whatever I'm going to take on the road with me, because obviously I do these videos and things, and I need to protect that kind of gear, not only from the elements, but from people taking it. So in the end, I decided on the Trax-Adventure line from SW-MOTECH. I did this for a couple of reasons. One, I had been down to Twisted Throttle down in Exeter, Rhode Island, which is not too far from me, and I'd seen these bags and I really liked the quality of them. Also, they have a really nice quick release system for the racks that I'll show you in just a second. So when you buy these bags, you have the choice on whether or not to buy a lock set for it. Now, of course, it seems like a no-brainer to me. You've got to buy the locks. What's the purpose of having the hard bags without locks on it? But I guess you can do that if you want to. So for me, I went ahead and I bought the lock set. Now, you have a choice of getting them for just the panniers, or you can get a set that will cover the same key for 3 bags. So there are 2 locks per bag, right? One to lock the bag itself, and one to lock the bag onto your rack system. So if you want to cover all 3 bags, that is panniers and a top case, you would get a set of 6 locks that are all keyed the same. Removing the bag from the rack, well, that's a pretty simple procedure. You just unlock your latch, flip it open, and then you can easily remove it from the rack. So once you have the latch undone, it's really simple to get off. All you do is lift and push the bag slightly to the rear, and it comes right off. So now the racks are attached to the bike in 4 different locations, right? 2 up near the grab rail of the bike, 1 down here near the passenger foot peg, and finally there's a keyed attachment that's near the rear of the bike by the license plate. So removing the rack is extremely simple. All you do is undo the 3/4 turn fasteners that we just went over. And of course you have to unlock that lockable one first. 1, 2, and then there's a 3rd one down near the passenger footboard, and you just pull it right off. It's that easy. So after removing the rack, what you're left with are 3 of these type of fasteners, these brackets that accept that 3/4 turn fastener. So as you can see now, once again, the bike looks nice and clean, no bags to get in the way. It's going to be much lighter. So if I decide to go out to a track day, this is the way that I'm going to go. SW-MOTECH has 2 versions of their hard cases. They have one they call the Evo line, that is the Trax Evo, and it is a folded aluminum box. That is, they get a big sheet of aluminum, they cut it all up, it gets folded up and then pressed, riveted together. So there are no through rivets in that line of boxes. That comes in a 1.5 millimeter thickness, which makes the bag much lighter than the one that I have here, which is the Trax-Adventure line. The Evo, it weighs about 9¼ pounds, I believe it is, and this one weighs a couple of pounds more, around 11¼ to 11.5 pounds. So, but it's a thicker aluminum. This is a welded box versus that folded and press riveted box. So this one is a stronger box. It is also the one that SW-MOTECH lists as being dust and water proof. The Evo line they list as being water resistant. In fact, it comes with a dry sack to put all your stuff in on the inside. Now, will I put a dry sack in this one too? Yeah, you bet. Just in case something does happen and this does leak, I'll use dry sacks inside this for all of my clothing and my accessories as well. Now there is of course a price difference as well between the Evo line and the Adventure line. This particular box, which is the 37-liter size, is about $80 more, $83 more to be exact, than the same size in the Evo line. So again, you know, it just depends upon your usage, on what you expect to do. I decided to pay the extra cost and get the little heavier duty box. So for those of you like me who are new to this adventure touring stuff, let me show you how these boxes are purchased, particularly in an aftermarket set. Sometimes when you're buying an OEM product, like Yamaha has a bag for the Tenere itself, you can get boxes that are the same width on both sides, but there's a cutout for the muffler. It would be on the left-hand side of the bike in the case of the Tenere. However, when you buy aftermarket boxes, you typically don't get that. You need to buy 2 different sizes so that they fit your bike and so that they extend equally on both sides of the bike. In the case of the Tenere, you need to get a 37-liter for the left-hand side and a 45-liter box for the right-hand side. At least that is the case in the SW-MOTECH line. Alright, so I know you're asking now, what did all this cost? Well, the total on all of this stuff was about $1,440 for all the bags, the racks, the locks, and etc. This bag here, the 37 liter size, goes for about $480.95. The bag on the other side, the 45 liter size, goes for $496.95. So they are not inexpensive. However, that's about what things cost on a motorcycle, right? I mean, a trunk for the Victory Vision or for the cross country, I know they run about $1,700, $1,800 to get those. So getting luggage for your motorcycle, well, it just costs a lot. Now, if you wanted to go less expensive, like if you wanted to do that soft bag system that I was originally talking about, you could probably do that and even buy this rack system here for it for around $600 or $700. So if you go with the soft bags, you can save yourself a whole lot of money. But they won't be lockable and they won't be as durable.
All right, so remember that when I started all this, I said that I was going back and forth between a hard and a soft luggage system. Well, I think in the end what I'm going to do is basically use both. I've got the hard cases for locking things down that I don't want to get wet and also that I don't want to get stolen from me. But also I have this soft luggage, the dry spec bags that I mentioned earlier. I've got that D38 that I'm going to use up on top. I'll mount it up on my pillion, or I might even remove that rear seat and I might put just a touring platform up there, a storage platform of some kind. But then I also have two of the dry spec D28 bags, which are open-ended bags on both ends. Basically you stuff it and roll it down. Again, 100% waterproof. So I'm going to use one of those each on top of the hard cases along with that D38 that's mounted up on top. And I think that should give me all of the storage that I need. If I need any more than that, well then I probably shouldn't be taking the stuff with me, to be honest with you. But we'll see. In the spring here, what I'll do is I'll pull out all of my gear and we'll do a test pack. I'll put my camping gear and stuff on there to see where it's all going to fit, because I do want to do a little bit of camping with this bike as well. So we'll try that out in the spring, like I said, and see how it all goes.
All right, so that's about it for my breakdown of my new hard case, the SW-MOTECH Trax-Adventure bags. If you want to know more, that is a detailed breakdown of the costs and all of the accessories that you have to get to put these bags on. That is the lock sets, the rack, the adapter systems. Those are all listed in a blog on my website at www.livingofftheslab.com. So go to the blog section. The new entry there will have a complete breakdown of everything about these bags, including costs and links to the ways that you can purchase them, where I got them, and that is through twistedthrottle.com. So have a good one out there, and we'll see you later.